You are so clear.
I think it's my phone. That's all.
Ah,
Mm.
okay.
Um, Nonetheless, to anyone who's watching this, this is Lwazi Jele from Kairos School of Inquiry. And just to touch on this, we have Khathala Nkomo on this video present, as you can see over there. And we're just trying to really understand what her experience was when she came to Kairos at the first term of this year in 2023. I think, let me not elaborate further. Let's just allow her to actually touch on that and introduce herself at the beginning before we get anywhere. Khathala Nkomo. I have the surname correct, right?
Yeah, well done.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Listen, I think before we actually even touch on the center of why we're actually having this Zoom meeting, can you, for whoever's watching, introduce yourself, tell them about yourself, who you are, and the likes?
Okay, so Khathala Nkomo. Um, I am a creative facilitator. I'm a performer. Um, yeah,
Mm, mm. I like that, keeping
yeah.
it short and brief. Um, Performer, I think that's very interesting, especially for what's this? For education. In when we're looking at education and we're looking at the arts itself, somehow you have found a way of actually combining the two, education and art, as not only a major, but as part of a module through the education system. Do you care maybe to touch on that, elaborate why that is the case? How did you come about to that?
Um, I feel like this is like another version of what I did on YouTube, conversation with Khathala Nkomo. So basically, as a performer, um, it has gotten into the stage for me, and it started actually when I was um, in the dance training program. Because after UCT, I joined Jazz Art and then continue with that with Penduga in Durban. So even from Jazz Art, I mean, running workshops in schools,
Mm,
bridging the gap between like the arts, which is when it comes to jazz art, it was dance,
yeah.
and then even in Durban, um, doing workshops in community center and in schools.
Mhm.
So I guess that's where my love of like being in front and sharing my skill started.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Normally, when we look at the arts, especially, performing arts, most people tend to venture into either acting or theater. And in as much as I think, if I'm not mistaken, you do dabble a bit on that. But how I met you, or rather how Kairos got to know you, is that you have interest in teaching children and in everything that has to do with arts. What is the inspiration behind that? What triggered that? What made you have so much interest in, thinking about the child around
Yeah.
this subject?
Yeah, I guess I did all the performing. I did the performing part of it, and I guess, like I said, like the growth in the sharing,
Mhm.
kind of like also, if like to when you find yourself in a situation and you're thinking, you kind of like, am I having flashbacks or is this happening?
Mhm.
Have I done this?
Yes.
Like I was one of those kids that would go to a community center while I was in high school
Mhm.
and being involved in the arts. Um, I was the one that was collecting my siblings and starting some kind of like a dance group, a
Mhm.
traditional dance group.
Mhm.
Um, so um, yeah, and I found myself like had to, while I was doing these workshops, I'm thinking like, whoa, I'm enjoying this even more actually. I'm enjoying seeing me sharing what I think I know with a stranger, and they shock themselves out in realizing that I am able
Mm-hmm.
to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, working with projects like Sibikwa, for instance, and Drama for Life, Mvuzo, which were like about taking the artists who are qualified artists who have studied the art and been and started performing, but now wanting to share, because I guess like with some of us, it is it's it's within us that sharing,
Yeah.
instead of like being watched, because for me it is a different kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do playback whereby it's all improvised. Somebody share a story or a moment of their lives,
Mm-hmm.
and we play it back to you.
Yeah.
I enjoy that too, but I enjoy the facilitation even more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, and somebody has to be there for the kids.
Yeah.
Listening to these kids, like kids have seen a lot, they experience a lot, and they don't have that kind of space that they can or they can be listened to, because that's all the art is about. The art is about you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whatever the painting or the drawing or the music, songs, dance, if you're starting to devise a show, it's all about your life. So all of that is about you and the people around you.
Yeah.
So if we take that and because also, yeah, that's another thing, is that also I didn't have that kind of platform
Mm-hmm.
when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I didn't have those kind of been done in my own school.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go to the community center,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to do this in schools, I mean, imagine, like you yourself, like teaching the art, like these kids, like, oh my goodness, it is amazing how unlimited their mind is. It's amazing that to them, yes, they acknowledge the black and white, and they like, what about the gray?
Yeah. Yeah.
What if, you know so the art does that for you, and if you're starting that at an early stage,
I'm glad you
that's
actually
that
touched. You
that's
actually touched on. Sorry to interrupt you there. I'm glad you actually touched on being a teacher and the likes. That was my next question. Briefly, what would you say is different about what you do compared to a life orientation or um, creative arts teacher in a school? What makes your
okay.
presence in a school different? What is the element that you tend to enjoy or you think is lacking from the classes in general when it comes to
Yeah,
the
well,
subjects themselves?
yeah, I bring the more than 20 years of my experience in the arts.
Hmm.
That's the
Hmm.
first thing. As somebody that has sat on that desk and had somebody in front of you,
Yeah.
and is somebody that has went out there and understand to perform the art, and what I bring is, and also with the experience, with the tools that I got from all these different spaces that I worked in. I mentioned Sibigwa.
Hmm.
I mean, my goodness, the training is on point.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
in the sense, that is why maybe then even when I get to these schools, like they think like I'm coming from the Department of Education,
Yes.
because
Yes.
when you get into these schools, then you speak their language, because that's the information,
Yeah.
that's the tools that you have been
Mm,
given
mm.
by the center.
Yeah.
you
Beautiful.
know and if you do like even the after school kind of, with the more than 20 years of my experience, I know how to get into the kids to open up for themselves.
Mm,
I know how to bring that safe space for them to like be themselves
mm,
in
mm,
a creative way.
mm. mm,
So that is the difference between me. I mean, I have been in schools like the principals will say, like, you are an educator, you are a teacher, you need to, you.
mm,
We need you, we need you, we need you. I sense all of that. I see all of that. And what I say to them is I just teach the art the way that is supposed to be taught,
yeah, yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
using the system that the school using,
Mm,
you know and and again, with the experience that I have,
mm,
what I have, the tools that I have on my pockets,
yeah.
they allow me, they allow that flexibility
Mm,
within me and the learners,
beautiful,
and I love
beautiful.
it.
Yeah. No, I love that.
That's
You,
the first, that's another thing, is because I love what I do. And then there was something that our assessor have said to us, is that a child does not learn from somebody that they don't like.
mm, mm, okay.
So that's also another thing. Like, if you know your work, then, because kids are very clever, you
Yeah,
can't mess
yeah,
them up. They're very clever. They catch you like this.
yeah.
You're not sure of what you're talking about, do you?
True, true.
So if you know what you are doing, it makes them even more curious.
Mm, mm,
And they want to challenge themselves. They want to get to know this. They just want.
yeah.
And yeah, it's never about me though.
It's it's not.
It's never about me, seriously. In
You
all these spaces, you know that. I got into your school, there were some rules, and I'm like, I'm just bringing myself in the tools that I have
I'm actually
within
glad
this
you touched on
environment.
that. I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking, let's just get
Uh,
to the gist of it. You know,
yeah,
you spoke about system. You spoke about how when you visit other schools, principals normally have this perception that you can be and you are a great teacher. I've seen you in the field myself at Kairos, and I have to say that it's brilliant how you are able to bring that vibe and the energy to the point where even when you left, the kids could not believe that you actually left. When it's Fridays, there's always that feel around that they actually miss having you around, and that's a beautiful trait to have as a person holistically. Besides touching on professionalism, now, you
yeah,
visited many schools, and as we're speaking right now, the last one to visit, I'm hoping, was Cairo School. What
yeah,
is the
yeah,
difference?
yeah, yeah.
What did you acquire, and what was so out there and mind blowing for you compared to the other schools you've been to? What would you say? How would you describe, as a matter of fact, how would you describe Kairos? How would you put it to another person if they were to ask, what makes Kairos different from the schools you've visited? What element does Kairos offer, or what is it that you've observed at Kairos that maybe other schools do not have?
Okay, first of all, it's the name. It's what the school is all about. It's Cairo School of Inquiry. Yeah?
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
um, it's also another question that one of um, the project managers, Sibikwa, asked me, was like, how was that school? Because that school felt like it's the place that you need to be.
Mm,
You
mm,
know,
mm,
I've been in working in government schools.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously, totally different.
Yeah.
And I worked in private school, Wisdom and Knowledge College, which is in town,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked at the street lights,
Mm-hmm.
which is no more. Which is the reason why I ended up being at Kairos, because
Mm.
the school was closed down last year.
Ah, that's sad.
And these two schools that I just mentioned are different than the schools in Soweto that I've been working in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the number of learners, with also like the whole system with the school.
Yeah.
And somehow I had flashbacks while I was at Kairos. I had flashbacks of these two schools,
Mm-hmm.
and also flashbacks of my gatherings with the playback. And first of all, I was, for instance, at Wisdom and Knowledge. the respect that I got from the principal, like they like to be listened to be seen. That is what happened at Wisdom and Knowledge, and also at the streetlights. Even being part of the teachers' meetings.
Yeah.
You know. And now I'm getting into this school. First of all, I'm like, whoa, this is a total different environment. And the school was kind of like, was anxious with me coming there, thinking like, I'm going to bring a different tone. I'm going to bring something that, this is like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm just bringing myself and the tools that I had. I have. And my goodness, Kairos, as much as you said the kids, they think about me on Fridays, I think about it too. On Fridays, like my Fridays are never the same. It was, for me, it was like the school is like a playground.
Yes.
First of all, even the whole assembly, the school, even when we went to Sibikwa last month for the presentation, when I gave the kids like some time, like a time to talk about the school, and the child has said, Kairos is all about community.
Yeah.
You sense that when you are there. I've never been in a school whereby there is no child that is alone, for instance. That's just that simple thing. There is no child that is alone. So if you're in grade R, you have a best friend, a bestie, a mentor that is in grade 5 or grade 6 or grade 7. Somebody to talk to before you get to talk to the teachers. Which is also something that is lacking with the schools, with other schools, because like teachers are overworked. And to also like include the emotions of the learners, and with the number of them, it is way too much. Having the number that you have, and having the system that you have, that a child has another child to talk to, in whatever way, or however they want to express themselves, they can do that. And they have like this project every Fridays that they get excited about.
Partner project.
They get so excited. It's amazing to see. And I mean, having a child from grade R to do the art, I got to the school that I was like, on my first day, starting from grade R up until grade 7. I'm in grade R, and I only have a month and maybe 2 weeks to prepare for the presentation for Sibikwa.
Yeah.
Here I am with the learners, that the pupils that are so excited with having me and doing the arts, that they hoping to go and present it at Sibikwa. Do you know how many times I've been there? I'm like, good Lord, do I do this? I've never take the young ones at Sibikwa, but this would be amazing though if I do this. So I was that is like, with all the grades that I work with, like, it was outstanding. The yes attitude that you get, the excitement that you get, they look forward to, like, Teacher Khathala, are you coming into our class? Are you coming to our class? What are we gonna do? Looking forward into spending that time in. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It was amazing spending like that playground. Hence, I'm saying it's like a playground.
Yeah.
And all those activities, those fun activities. I've never been in a school where, I mean, my goodness, and with those poems that those kids, they quote, they mean everything. I've been into a school whereby a child checks in. A child checks in when they get into class in a circle. That I do it with playback. And we only do that with the candles when it comes to our reflection sections, which is our awareness time. So they sit in a circle with the candle lit and reflect on and check in on how you're feeling. how are you right now before we start the whole
Mm, mm,
education thing? How are you?
yeah.
How are you as an individual?
Mm,
And are you in? If not, what's happening?
mm,
You know,
mm.
I mean, yeah, dude. Yeah, I
I
mean,
like that.
yeah.
I like that. You've in not so many words, but so many words at the same time, you've really explained so many elements that even I, when I was starting at Kairos, had observed. And I think that's another thing that has kept me going and loving and falling much more in love with the school. Not only the school, but the children themselves. They just have a way, a different spirit.
It's all about the children.
Exactly, exactly. No, Katala, in as much as I would love to have more questions and, ask you
Yeah.
about everything around your experience and your professional life, I think for now, probably lunch one day where we can actually meet.
Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, and just
Let's do
discuss
it.
you holistically. But thank you for making the time. Thank you for actually, answering my questions and making the time to actually make this recording for the school. For someone who's no
Yeah.
longer serving the school or even partaking in the school, making this time for us means a lot. So, from me and the entire school system, I'd like to appreciate you for that and thank you for making the time and for actually answering each and every question honestly and truthfully.
Thank you.
What would be
Thank
before
you.
we close, what would be the words of wisdom to, say, a child who's attending at Kairos or any child who might be watching this video who says, I'm actually interested in the arts. I would like to venture into the arts. And, I just don't know how to go about it before even touching on the steps of how to go to school and whatnot, what are the elements that you think are very important for one to look into or invest in or nurture in order to be good at what they do in the arts department?
Um, for instance, what I said to you is that the art is all about you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, you are portraying what your thoughts, what you're thinking about,
Yeah.
and when I work, yes, I work in all these spaces, but I'm not working with the participants, with the learners, for them to be artists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just using the art to get
Yeah.
into them to make their own choices, and hopefully, they can choose their own paths in life.
Mm-hmm.
The art is there for that.
Mm-hmm.
Starting it at the young age,
Mm-hmm.
it is very dangerous. It is very dangerous in a good way. It's
Mm-hmm.
very dangerous in a good way because that child will be unstoppable
Yeah.
in decision making.
Mm-hmm.
So the art helps you to empathize, helps you in making decisions, and helps you in questioning. You know, yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
I think,
Yeah, no, thank you so much. That's very
and
with.
I have been, yeah, sorry, and I have been talking about the school,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking I think everyone should go to Kairos, like seriously, like no, seriously. I mean, I believe in everything that the school is all about.
Yeah.
That is also what makes me feel kind of like at home,
Yeah.
because it has everything that I believe in,
Mm,
which is good for any child.
mm, mm, mm. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I still
Yeah.
follow it on Instagram and like the pictures. You know, it is on Instagram. People should follow it.
Actually, we will put a link down below this video just in case people need to visit Facebook and other things, or other places and other social media platforms. Thank you so much once again. This has been very helpful. I hope to see you very soon. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, Katala.
Thank you so much,
All
Lwazi.
right, take
And
care.
I hope you enjoy your day too. And thank you for this.
It's a pleasure. Bye, Khathala.
Uh-huh. Bye.